February 4th, 2021. The time is 9:01 a.m. This is our weekly Community Development Meeting with the Board of County Commissioners. Officially calling this meeting to order, attending are Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. Zach, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any potential conflicts of interest? Hearing none. Changes to the agenda? None. Okay, so our first item, and it is an action item, is a signing. Case number VAR for variance 20-0010, Dale and Kim Ram for a 7-foot variance to the 10-foot side yard setback on a 0.27 acre waterfront lot in the restricted residential zone. The board did hold deliberations on January 28th of this year and approved this request. Vlad, did you want to comment?
No, pursuant to your request, staff has prepared an order of decision for your review and signing.
Okay, then, motion.
I move that we execute the order of decision for case number VAR 20-0010, Dale and Kim Ram.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chairman Filios?
Aye, and the motion is carried, and we'll execute the order of decision. Okay, so moving on to the business segment of our meeting this morning. Item A, variance 20-0009, a minor development proposal to original board approval, and this is a discussion item. David?
Commissioners, you may recall this one you just approved. The applicant has another idea. I didn't feel comfortable just playing willy-nilly with the applicant's original application and your approval. But I do see their point that, adding this additional floor area underneath what you approved as the variance is the sort of change that the neighbors will hardly notice in this case, because you'd have to be an adjoining neighbor or driving on this road to see the little bit that will now be visible. Again, normally a variance, we only approve what's in the packet, but frankly, I hate dragging people through the process all over again, which is the other alternative, for something this insignificant, if you agree. So I thought this was the sort of one, and the next two are very similar, that if you're comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it, we let it go and we're done, rather than force another hearing. However, the other thing we could do, if you want, we could reach out to all the neighbors and make sure, by mail, and say, we've had this request to alter the original approval. If you're fine with it, the board's fine with it, and then we could be done. So it's kind of your call.
So in the original approval, we didn't get any, we got one. Did we get one?
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yes.
Just
Minimum.
one comment.
Go ahead, Zach.
Good morning, Planner Zach Trevino for the record. Concerns in the original case had to do with slope stability and the potential for erosion and landslides. And one of the conditions that was placed on the approval was that the applicant have engineered plans for the building process, as well as a site disturbance permit in order to address any factors at that time. And in this case, after all that was wrapped up and the order was issued, they had this idea, and part of the justification that he provided, in addition to, of course, the convenience of the added space, was the lowered center of gravity. And of course, we don't have any engineering plans at this time. That would be done when they go to construct this, if you deem it appropriate. But certainly, it wouldn't expand the building footprint. It would be below the existing
Right.
floor.
And it's pretty common out in this area to have this sort of configuration.
Right. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Bill?
Yeah, I've looked at it. I have no problem.
That makes three. Motion?
No, it's,
No, we don't need one.
no, I think it's just direction for,
Precisely. So you're good, okay. Item B, boundary line adjustment for Garnet Ranch, first edition, rather than an amendment to the preliminary plat, and this is an action item. Go ahead, David.
You approved what's on the screen, including the yellow line, which is the full property and all the purple, heavy, thick purple line, as the entire subdivision. The code requires, our code requires that the road be punched all the way through and built. When they actually, final plat approval, we'd get that done. But after we got through preliminary and you approved this, conditions have changed in a couple of ways. One is that the city is willing to annex right up to this new purple boundary line. And that really obviates or does away with the need for the additional extension. Again, like the last case, I hate to drag people through an amendment for this sort of process when Pat and I agree that a boundary line adjustment could be done now because it's the same property owner over here on the left side of the far left of the screen as all the rest of this plat. And so to me, the solution is let them boundary line adjust now, then the city will annex and it'll be a non-issue. And then that way they don't have, the owner, doesn't have the expense of building a road that the city will presumably deal with.
okay. So it's almost a, what do you call it, when the use is larger and then it's a lower use? It's like a lower impact.
The intensity of use is less impact, so yeah,
Yes,
I think
less
so.
impact, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right,
So you're reducing, we're not expanding.
exactly. And so I'm hopeful, like the last case, you're fine with this. We tell the applicant, go boundary line adjust. We don't have to drag them through another
Yep.
hearing process.
Guess we're all good?
Yes.
Motion.
I move that we approve the boundary line adjustment for Garnet Ranch First Edition as presented.
I second the motion. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Approving the boundary line adjustment. Okay, item C, acceptance of Centennial Trail Crossing in Landmark Place subdivision in Post Falls. David,
This subdivision's actually in the city of Post Falls, but it crosses Centennial Trail. That's why, we've talked about it once before.
Right.
Nick has actually showed up with the city staff, met with them directly, he's fine with it. What's changed since we last talked with it is it's become clear from the city engineer I had a conversation with, that where this road, you see on the screen, crosses the trail, the developer would be required to redo this portion of the trail to city road standards. And there'll be a gate right down here. So first of all, you got limited access because people have to have the access code. And then there'll be, if you look at the left-hand side of the screen, let me zoom in a little bit. I can. Yeah, I got the wrong one. I won't waste your time. But on this left side, you'll see what's going on is the city road will ramp up at a gradual and then hit the existing trail elevation. So the trail's elevation will stay the same. It's just the developer is required to rebuild the entire portion right there to meet city road standards. So it can't ruin our trail. Okay. And so Nick's fine with it, I'm fine with that. So if you're fine with it, I'm gonna call the city engineer today and say, go for it.
So that portion of trail will actually be a little bit sturdier than the rest of the trail.
Arguably so.
Okay.
fine.
I agree.
Hooray for common sense.
Okay. So we're not doing the motion today then, right?
I'm fine with it. If you, all I
okay,
need is your
that's fine.
okay, and Nick's happy, we're done.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Public
Thank you.
comment. Hearing none. 9:11, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Commissioners.
You bet.